You moved to New York in 1981, again another very turbulent time in the history of the Troubles. Was this one of the main contributing factors to your departure?
I actually had no plan to up and go there. Yeah, the hunger strike period was extremely traumatic, and then when my family and I ended up there, we just weren't coming back, you know. But out of that was this need to express what had gone on, and so I wrote a play called The Tunnel, which was based on an actual digging of a tunnel that I'd experienced in the Cache. But it was more allegorical, and then Jim Sheridan put it on at the Irish Arts Centre and ended up starring in it, in the lead role. And then obviously some other actually came out of a book called 10 Men Dead by David Beresford that I read, and for me, one of the central pathetic and noble and sad things was that dilemma of the mothers where they were asked to take their sons off the hunger strike or let them die, and that's a really universal theme, and it's a kind of extraordinary event. So that became the basis for Some Other Son, which was written, the first draft was written before In the Name of the Father. And then meeting and knowing Jerry Conlon was the sort of evolution of that story. So yeah, it's a weird thing. You just, not for a second did I ever think I'd be in this business or even contemplate it, but it sort of rolled out like that in New York.
As well as film, you were involved in the creation of the TV series The District, set in America. Were you concerned at all that people would view it as yet another TV cop drama, and why do you think it was successful?
Well, it was based on a really good friend of mine who was the Deputy Commissioner of Police in New York, and he invented a cop system, a policing system called ComStat that cleaned up New York and then was applied throughout the United States, and he was a fantastic character. So I knew if we caught the flavour of that and the kind of uniqueness of Washington DC, that it had a chance. And it's a roll of the dice thing with TV shows. We got a good pilot and it scored well, and then you're off and running. And I tried to not make it like that TV show, but we had a particular slot Saturday nights at 10 o'clock, which is a much older audience over there. And so we had to cater to that. But I mean, there's all the drawbacks of American television, but I actually liked it because you could write a story one week, be prepping it the next, shoot it the third week, and it'd be on TV at the end of the fourth week. So it's an amazing cycle, but it's really hard work.
In some of the storylines in the series, you incorporated the connection between Northern Ireland and America. Was that important for you as an Irishman living in America?
Yeah, I mean, the best show I did for the District, which they call over there a bottle show, and what they mean is that you have to shoot it. It has to be shot in 5 days because you're catching up, was a story about a sort of Adams figure coming to Washington, D.C. And in the District, I had an ex-RUC man character that basically I wrote to get David O'Hara into the show. But it became one of maybe the most popular character, and that encounter between the two of them is one of the things I'm proudest of. It really took off, and the two actors just nailed it.
And just finally, Terry, what are your plans for the next few years? Have you any projects in the pipeline?
Yeah, I have too many. The big one is there's a book out at the minute about a UN diplomat. The diplomat's name is Sergio Vieira de Mello, who was, the kind of unknown hero of the UN, and who was their foremost diplomat, negotiator, human rights activist, and he basically spanned 30 years where he was involved in trying to broker peace in pretty much every conflict that happened over the last 30 years. So there's a book called Chasing the Flame, and I'm adapting that now for a movie.
Thank you very much, Terry, and all the best with your projects in the future.